Hey guys, just another short Battlefield video today, cause right after publishing the last video we got news about upcoming map changes for the game, so I'm gonna give you a short overview of this as well. After the last post from DICE about the maps, they received thousands of messages on different platforms from players giving feedback and suggestions on how the maps could be changed. Now the developers split all of this up into 4 main points and tell us a bit more about the given feedback and what to expect for the different maps in the future. The first point is Traversal, and the main feedback here was that the traveling time between base and first flag, but also between flags in general, is too long. So the goal is to reduce this time by moving all of these areas closer together. And the first 2 maps that will see these changes are Kaleidoscope and Renewal, and I think that's a pretty good choice, cause these are actually the ones with the worst design. The release for both of the new versions is scheduled for early summer alongside Season 1. Another feedback that was given to Traversal is that players want more transport vehicles on the map so they don't have to go by foot all the time. But DICE doesn't want to increase the number of vehicles in general, which is a very good decision, but instead want to change the vehicle types that are available. So what they are internally testing right now is to switch the M5 Cibolti to the armored vehicles and move the MAV to the transport vehicles instead. That means the M5 Cibolti would then count as a tank and wouldn't be available as often. Same for the Nightbird, that will be switched to the attack helicopters and taken away as a transport vehicle. And that is also connected to another core point, which is the intensity of the matches, since especially in 128 player modes, combat can be really chaotic. And the feedback that was mostly given pointed out that vehicles are too dominant on the maps. So as a consequence, DICE will reduce the number of vehicles available at the same time. For attack helicopters, the number will be reduced from 3 to 2, while the cooldown for their respawn will be increased from 60 to 120 seconds. And as already mentioned, the Nightbird and the M5 Cibolti will be moved from transport to attack vehicles to lower their availability. And these changes will already be implemented with the next update, which should be the April update next week. Another point that was given here is that the call-in system should be restricted to light vehicles and ranger only and shouldn't include tanks anymore. Also, players asked if the flag areas could be enlarged so combat around these areas would spread a bit more. But these are things that DICE is still discussing internally, and they are also collecting more feedback on this before actively integrating it into the game. But we might see these changes in the future as well. Another one of the main topics is cover and line of sight, and I think that's the most important point since there is simply not enough cover on the maps to even cross a street. So when moving the objectives to other locations, they will also add more cover around them. And just like the objective changes, the cover will also be added on Kaleidoscope and Renewal first. Here are some examples with more obstacles or more elevated terrain to break the line of sight. Also on Kaleidoscope at the B1 objective, there will be a completely new part added with the look of a military installment that comes with mud, barbed wire and so on. This is also made to add more immersion and make the map look less clean and more like an actual battlefield. And the last core point they were talking about in the post were the paths, as there are not enough clear paths between the flags right now. And many players gave the feedback that it would be great to line up cover in such a way that it leads to a clear path between the objectives. And this is also something that will come later, and they will also start working on this once the traversal and line of sight changes have been done. So to sum it up, with the next update we will already get the changes to vehicle availability, and then with Season 1 the design changes to Kaleidoscope and Renewal will be added. The rest of the maps will follow during Season 2, at least that's how it is scheduled at the moment. Also, the next feedback session that will be held in a few weeks from now will be focused on the specialists and the class system, so we might see some changes to this with Season 1 as well. And that's it for today. I hope this video gave you a good overview of all the upcoming changes, and if it did, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Until then, thanks for watching, I'm the Catwoman and you are awesome.